And then
I
that's
mean,
what
that's the West Texas. Yeah.
I knew I found a potential job that I retire in because they value their people, but they also make HR a crucial line gatekeeper of a wealth of information from above, here to the top, then here to the bottom. And
It's not an afterthought.
it's not an afterthought. One of my best jobs I had was, well, it's all the HR jobs I've carried because I learn something new every day in the HR thing, but it's working with a team that here's our ebook. We're not like following. I don't know why we're not following it, but you can take a look at it. Let us know what we can tweak here and do so that we are following, because I think it's making our discipline program. And so when I review policy and procedure, I'm like, okay, first of course, no handbook needs to be 100 pages long.
No.
And one of the issues that you're always currently having, people know their PTO, don't know the days off, don't know how to de-escalate conflict. And so I was like, okay, we're going to make sure those policies are right there at the beginning. And the rest of it can just trickle into, okay, this is our ethic clause, this is, and all this other stuff. And I think that's where it starts, is knowing your policies and procedures and the job descriptions, job roles. I don't know if employers are getting away from that sense, but it's just like they don't want to read the resume, they don't want to read an email, they just want the person to come in and be like, I'm the one for the job. And that doesn't work. Assessment, discernment are key components in that. Is it still a gamble to hire someone? Okay. Because they can look great on paper. You sound great in the interview, but when you get up behind the computer or out in the field on a pumping jack or flare boom or rig, you find out real quick who embellished on the resume. And then at that point, it's documentation in the HR world. You'll see that all the time. Did you document it? But because we have the 90-day threshold, it's okay to funny that 90 days if they embellished on their resume.
It will stay.
It's okay. It's okay if you employ them and they're not working for that role, but you see that they might have better alignment. And so you create a demotion or parallel switch and give them another chance. But HR really, really focuses on, okay, given this person more chances and you only give them this one, two.
Yeah.
So that's not consistent policy, and that's why your policy is not working. Permian Basin and hiring, they don't have a lot of big HR departments because their big staff is either like in Dallas or Houston, and they have like one HR person down here who is so overwhelmed, worked and overwhelmed. Yeah. And they're always having to communicate up to, the Houston or Dallas location or whatever. And then they report that back down. Something's going to miss in that message.
Yeah.
You know that game tell?
Yes, I do.
But tell this person's name.
It's around it's
not what started, and that's what happens. And probably basically even in recruiting. And I have not struggled to find anyone applying for jobs. What we are struggling with is finding people that are for that role, have the skill sets that is required from day one. And so in the past, people would just give them a shot, hire them anyways. We need this warm body in this seat. But do you?
No, we don't need to put a Band-Aid on it.
Because if you hire that person and they're not doing the reports that you need, and they're not doing the errands or whatnot, and you just hired someone to pretend they can do that, it took no load off the back. Now it added more because now you have to babysit. So one of the worst jobs I've had, there's actually two of them, and it wasn't the company or the role, it was the management responsible above. One didn't want women in leadership, flat out. Had a complete attitude against women in the workforce, especially while I do you know that a lot of people don't want to take advice on safety from a female?
Safety is safety.
I was like, why not? Because when they come with kids with a fever or they swallow a pebble or whatever, the first thing you do is the mom. About safety is conscience and parts out there. So I see you hanging off like a monkey on a mantle. Men are only alive a little bit longer than their wife, whatever, because the woman's telling him, don't do that.
You're guilty of that, and I'm in safety. That's true. It's sometimes the men just get full of themselves and their confidence and think that they can overcome this minor.
We'll just move this over here because it'll get it done quicker. All right, quicker is not better.
That's right.
It's not better, but you can lose your life on it.
I still have my wife right where she wants me.
So where's the pants?
She wears the pants. Sounds nasty. You're in safety. Don't do that. Okay. I was just trying to hurry.
It was just amazing how much I've had to fight for the respect to the roles that I've carried because I'm a woman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And sad, too.
It's gotten better. I'm sure it was way worse when it was only be a librarian, a housewife, or a teacher type of thing. So I can work in a man's world. But if one man is in management, does not want a female in there, it's exhausting to constantly advocate for what's right. If I advise you not to do something because it's really borderline illegal, and you go do it anyways, and it does the exact same thing I warned you would do, I'm not the one that fix it. I warned, I advised, you did it anyways, these are the consequences. And so that puts into the other job that I had that was the worst. It was a great job description, bigger boost in salary. It looked all things great on paper. And the owner is horrendous micromanagers. But approved something in a week later, I didn't. There was no autonomy in the role. There was no, I want you to come in and be a leader, but no, you can't leave that. You can't leave that. You can't leave that. And I only lasted in that role 5 weeks because I remember flipping it, putting myself in a situation I would tell an employee, you're not seeing her valued. It's okay to leave. And so I left. I left without a backup plan. But for the first time in my career, I'm like, this is detrimental to my growth, what I'm capable of doing, and also my mental health. And we always use to put your oxygen mask on first. It's the same thing for HR. Your leadership team, your CEO team, and all that stuff wants you to do something, create a report or whatever, and then you get it all done. It's like, oh, we're still going to do it this way. And there's pieces of it that's not legal. Then it does. You see it on the Landman show, right? Ask for forgiveness later. But that's why HR is being subpoenaed and going to court on behalf of a company because this guy, John, wanted to do what Luke suggested or what tuned out Mel. And here we are. And you grit and bear it. And you really want to scream at the I told you so. But it doesn't help anything, right? We're working really hard at PP Sharm to continue on doing some more trainings that help our staff out here, whether they're in HR1, if they're a safety role, financials, benefits. So it gives them those soft skills training to where they can go back and utilize them with their employer. And so I'm so excited what 2025 looks like in that because we get emails, like, we need more help on recruiting, we need more help on AI, we need help on how to de-escalate a situation that we didn't cause. And I get so happy that the feedback is there. So we find those speakers to come in and do these trainings so that these people can have all the tools for success. And so in recruiting, if you're hiring and you're doing very high turnover, you need to look internal in your policies. But then you also need to see what are you not doing to advocate for that role and that person. You just hire them and expect to know it all. Common sense or whatever. No, or did you train them with every avenue you could? And if they're still underperforming, then it's okay to cut the cord. I think I know that it says we're really low on employment, but let's say a role opened up for a delivery driver. 1 day's time, 90 applicants.
Recent. Wow.
So people are still looking for work. What's the difference between COVID and now is people are willing to jump ship for their current company versus them still being employed. Because whether it's the culture or the role itself or the pay more competitive, we're not seeing it. We're just waiting on at one phone call. They're leaving their current employer to come work with our employer. And we want that to happen. it fills our roles, but it makes me think about these companies out there that are losing people who can work for us. What does your policy look like? What? So I have that flip of the switch because I'm PB Sharon's president. I want to reach out to that employer going, I'm curious, what is your turnover rate? How can PB Sharon help you with that? And it's simply reviewing resumes and reviewing handbooks, safety manuals, and making sure that it works conclusively with everything. Okay, it's okay you do that. It's okay. Don't do that, but you did it already, so I forgive you for that. And no documentation, no write-up, no nothing. But I think we're still going to see an upward trend on employment. I think some companies are back in action and getting bigger again, so they can either rehire who they put on furlough, or do they just open it up and say, okay, now we have profit and we can pay more and we can offer some relief, a few more people to help you keep things up to par, not behind. I can speak from experience that the last few years after COVID, the management was really reluctant to hire just one more person extra or two. You need that in succession planning because if John decided to quit, you don't have a backup. So giving those projections to numbers, okay, great. You want to sit at this number, and you only want this many people hired, but if you add these two, then if 2 people here, these are already trained, it works. You're going to lose. You can't keep everyone, but you should be able to hire again pretty quickly without low operations, like vulnerable for poor performance with your client or product or whatever it is that you do. But I do see the privileges of working. There's jobs still open. There, hopefully it's still open after a week or two because they're truly trying to find the right candidate. Not just saying, oh, they applied first. That's the one that gets it. So I'm really, really excited what 2020 is going to do. Both my role and president of PB Sharon, but for the masses out there that are hungry for knowledge, resources. We're hoping to partner this year with a job fair and then resume writing. It's amazing how many don't know how to write a good resume. Phone etiquette, in-person interview etiquette. If anyone is in the hiring manager role and you do not know what you need to be doing or saying in those interviews, your HR should be part of that conversation. There should be training involved, and that's what PB Sharon could do for them. You can reference even consulting if you don't have an HR department. But even if you have an HR department, sometimes it's great to have that third party come in and assess to remove the bias.
Right.
And we have some big heavy hitters out there. Big. One thing that I've not gone through is mergers and acquisitions. But other companies out here have merged. Quite a few have been bought out and whatever. And so our staff and some of our board members, we need to do a training of mergers and that. What is HR's role in a merger acquisition? How can they facilitate things? How can they help? So we're bringing someone in to do a training on just that. Feedback,
And it happens.
The key part that you asked on HR is I'm pretty blessed to be recognized for what I do. But I hear so many emerging leaders or even veteran leaders that HR is just a very thankless. You don't get a lot of attaboys. That's good. But I encourage them. That's okay. Because on the flip side, if you're doing things so poorly as HR, your employer would be in some hot water constantly. And you would have much more turnover rate because, you're looking for the kudos versus get the work done and get it done right the first time. Don't know how long I'll be or if it's to retirement, but I take great pride that I am an HR manager in the oil and gas industry and in Midland, Texas. So you make your job, and you did safety for years, you make your job what it needs to be, regardless what's on paper. The paper is defining the role, knowing the expectations, but it's okay if you I understand that, but I want to go. And as long as it benefits the company and the employee, it's a win-win.
And see, and I was grateful blessed with working with some credible HR personnel and safety individuals. And when you get to the end of the line, you still care. And I go back to president says, I don't care how much a man knows until they know how much a man cares. It was sexist because they didn't include the ladies, but they need to change it to person to get it up to date. But that's the thing is you can go to school, get all kinds of degrees. You can work in all kinds of great jobs, but until you care, that's the people that I started with.
And it starts from the top.
It does start.
I mean, I get it. Leadership, CEOs, they got a busy role and that stuff, but if you're dismissive of innovation and growth, or just not being vulnerable with your team, or letting your team know the goals of the company, you set every single employee there already to fail. So it starts from the top and it trickles down, cascade messages, but your frontline should know the vision of the company just as much as the CEO does. PB Sure, coming up 2025, it's all about partnerships in this regards, because they need to know what we do for free, we offer. And employers need to take that up. Yeah. They need to take that free resources and send these to or whatever. You need to go here. You need to get plugged in. I'm so honored. I started right before COVID, right after COVID with PB Sure. And in just those 4 years, even my whole mindset shifted so much on what empathy is and the role in HR. Emotional intelligence, what has to have in safety or in HR, is vital. It's vital. You're not a walking map. Well, it's going to use you, whatever. Discernment's critical. But you may be the only one that is carrying empathy. And so emotionally intelligent and have to tell the manager, that's nice. That's okay that's your goal. But because this is the first instant this person is doing this, then we need time out. And then we need to figure out what's going on. One of the examples I give is that you've got an employee in your office working their buns off for 6 months and it's crazy. And then that 6 months you see a peak, that's the immediate notice to check in.
What's going on?
What's going on? And then when you get to know them and they feel safe to tell you that it's fixable. It's completely fixable because you can find the solution for them that benefits their growth and their plans. An example I can give is home life, kids. An adopted dad comes in and is so frustrated, gets set off at work or whatever. The husband is just so focused that he's upset about work, yada yada. They're ready to, okay, let him quit. I'm like, this is one of the best employees you have. And I don't think it's job related. I think there's some underlying issue here. And when they come to my office, poof, it starts unfolding. There's issues at home with the teenager, all this stuff. And I said, the easiest question is, how does quitting your job help the situation? Because you're going to be behind on bills. Yes, you're more available to get up to school and handle things or whatever. But you're going to lose your home, you're going to lose your car, food, all this other stuff. So, take the next 2 days off. Get your child support they need or whatever, and then come back ready to rock and roll. That's what sets me apart in HR. It's not employee 2995 that just walked in my office. It's John. He needs help. Partnership with the Springboard Center out here in Midland, the PB Sherm, as well as my own company. They existed. No, I've never struggled in that. Didn't have a lot of issues at work with that because if they've had their second or third DUI, it's just a termination, But we had an employee right after I joined the Springboard, this employee kind of just disappeared. And it was the manager who brought it to HR. This is a really good employee, and that's up. Can't locate him. Finally get a hold of the wife and relocate him, and he had relapse after 20 years. And immediately, you go, okay, March 3. Right? We don't want this. But the work ethic for 20 years was gold. Something happened for that relapse. What do we do? So we partnered with Springboard and used the insurance program, all that to benefit. There was the employee coming back to me saying, thank you for giving me that shot. I really thought my job was over with. And I was like, well, thank you for doing the work. That's half the battle. We can come up with any leave accommodation, work out some type of plan, but if you don't do the work outside of that plan to get back to work, that's not the end game. eventually a termination if I have, and that's with anything, relapse, an injury, schedule, subordination, one-on-one, right? I don't want to drive that truck. I don't want to work 7 to 6 or 9 to 2. I'm sorry, you too. But the whole thing of accountability. If I treat Dusty this way, but I treat John this way, and it's not equal, it's not fair. It should be done this way. I think we do get a lot of attention to problem because managers do that. Oh, I like Dusty's supply chain, but we're spread all the time. John has this same work ethic, always here, whatever. I just personality pushed me the wrong way. It's not fair. It's not fair. Are hoping to bring much more of that training of de-escalating a situation, or someone comes in the office and sits on a chair. I'm done. I don't want to do this no more. Okay, keep going. Let it all out. Feel good now? Yeah, I feel much better. How does doing that you just said going to fix your issues? I didn't hear a single thing of if I quit my job, my life drastically going to improve. Didn't hear that one bit. You're overwhelmed. Can't leave it at the door. It's unsafe for you to be behind the wheel. Get home, step by step, work on the problem, find a solution to work, keep me in the loop. That employee continues to work for the company for years on. The faithfulness, the loyalty in that part. I don't know if someone else was in that role. It happened that way. Or didn't have HR. It just, you missed a couple of days. I'm sorry, you're out, bro. And he came back in my office and said, not only did I get to do classes, support groups, or whatever, I found people in my backyard to support me if I feel like I need to relapse again. And that is why we did it. That feedback right there. And hope by training others and PBSHR and stuff that we have much more HR.
Oh, I do too.
Then just let it go. Policy says this. Look at your policy. There should be a very broad policy in place, but it gives a little flexibility for HR or leadership to go, okay, I guess Brandon, the policy says this, but it also says we can this way, and they can stay. And that's what an EAP is all about. Employee Assistance Program that assists the employee human resource, be a human, and give them the resources. Well, that last job with that bad boss, 5 weeks, when it got so bad that that person was yelling at me, I stood up. I said, I don't get to be yelled at. I don't get to be yelled at. That's not professional. I didn't do anything to set you off like that. It's not wrong. It's just different the way I was doing things. If you truly want to do it all, fine.
There you go.
Fine. But any other questions you may have for me?
Not that I'm aware of. I'm just so appreciative that you took time to do this. I think people will learn from it. Gives another different way of showcasing HR and its importance and letting HR do HR things, because there's still some companies out there that they have a nice hood ornament of a person in the position of HR, but they don't allow them to do their job. This gives people insight to that and to what a wonderful person you are.
I appreciate that. I would say, though, to any company out there that doesn't have an HR department or has someone in the role that truly is HR, is just shuffling paper around, reach out to PBSHR or supporting that. We have some consultants in the area that will do those bits and pieces of changing a policy or coming out do a training that can help people there too. But the thing is that we don't know unless you reach out and tell us what's going on. I love seeing community partnerships that are being created, PBSHR and the local community. Putting out all those resources keeps people employed, gives a better bottom line for an employer, it gives the culture setting that, hey, I know you're not hiring right now, but you guys are such a great company. Here's your resume. Keep on filing. That's it. I walk down the hall of my job. People don't run. There's still a negative connotation with it. The HR, that's the HR lady. We can't say that in front of them. And it's just minding your P's and Q's, a lot of it, but we're human too. We make a joke.
Yep.
We laugh, But we're also, I think it's Patrick Lencioni says it in the five dysfunctions of a team. Trust. Trust is knowing your teammate or HR is coming to you with this, at you, because it's for the betterment of the team, the company. It's not individuality. I don't need fame and recognition for what I do. I want thriving employees. I want profit revenue for the employer. And I don't need someone knocking on my door going, this is working out. You decide to do that, fine. But when I look at things in the data analysis viewpoint, and you've got 67% turnover, I'm looking at your policy. I'm looking at the leadership, the middle managers. You're hiring people that are not equipped to be a manager. You need to get them trained to do it quickly. Someone's taking on that role and never getting it done because you've got so many other hats to wear. Reach out to consultants in this area. Reach out to PB Sherm because it'll save on your bottom line. None of these people charge an arm and a leg. But if your budget says we can't hire a $65,000 a year HR manager, we can do $20,000 for part-time someone. We can help find you the right partner that you need. PB Sherm also district training. If you're de-escalating an employee, you need someone from PB Sherm to come out there and train them on how to de-escalate. We'll send it to somebody. And that's free of charge. And we're non-profit. But we can't, you have to ask for it. Yeah. I think this goal in 2025, there's a few other chapters out there. One of them is Prosperity Employment Outreach, or Outreach PEO, I think it is. Kim is amazing, and we are going to partner with them on reviewing resumes, being people that have had dark spot on their background, put them in place with the companies that are second chance employers. Okay. And how to help them in an interview, work around the background check and explain what happened, how it affected, what did you learn from that, and that it's served your time and still get employed, and we're excited for that partnership. Because, people don't know where Midland is. People don't know that PB Sherm exists. People don't know that resources exist. I did Midland one-on-one last year. And that taught me how to work with the community resources. So now that I have employees come in and they can't put food on the table, they made too much food stamps. I have a list of what food banks they can go to and what times they're open. Yeah, it's not on my job description. It's not on paper. Is that what HR does? Because we need to make sure, even though on paper it looks like they have a livable wage and we can't increase their payroll, we can get them the resources they need. I used to, and I still kind of do. I get a few gift cards, $20, $25, and they can use for fuel. So I have employees come, I don't have enough gas to get to work. No questions asked, just go get some. Because they don't want to go tell everyone they're struggling. On paper, it looks like they should be making decent money. We don't know all their bills or their debt. We don't know what happened last week, and Johnny needed to go to the hospital for allergic reaction, and they use their grocery money to pay for the emergency room. But they'll knock on my door and tell me, because that's what I'm there for.
And there's a lot of pride false pride, but there's a lot of pride in our area, and I guess there is all over, but it seems prevalent here. But we know how to push through this obstacle, and we're going to do it, and they don't have the means, ways to do it. That's where they need to rely on help.
Yes, I couldn't get through the life in my story without mentors, without guiding me into, hey, no, this city isn't for you anymore. Let's look at your resume and get you a new job. The little nuggets of wisdom and blessings that I received in my years has really made me want to give back to, because people, look at it, here's someone right here, they're reaching out, and that person wants to fix that person. It's just ever flowing, because you can't do this life alone. Can't do your career alone. Can't raise your children alone. I'm raising mine alone, but I still have a great tribe that, okay, can you pick school? I got a late meeting. Yeah, sure, I got you. But if you don't communicate those needs, if you don't ask for help, rock bottom is rock bottom. It's being vulnerable. Ask for that help. Ask for that $20 gift card for fuel. And it's okay that you did it. And confidentiality is key. I wouldn't say that it doesn't really all happen, but if someone comes into your office and tell you to go and say something, don't go tell anyone else. You know, help them work it through whatever pride, goes with that. Um, Hugh Sherman's really good at listening to those that come to them and like, yeah, I don't know how to make this shift. You know, we're about to have more younger people in the office we're used to. And training all dogs is not easy. Let them teach
Oh, yeah, that,
let them teach you new things. They're also looking up to you to teach them how to manage their anger, emotions, setbacks, being flexible. They're learning from textbook ways of doing things. And we are real great that that happens in textbooks. This is how it went down in the real world. This is steps to take. And we are really glad to bring those trainings to PV this coming year. Our next conference is September 25th, 25. And we're not stopping on what we're bringing people to come in here and learn and do. With so many acts, so many federal guidelines, so many compliance and legality stuff that we get lost in the weeds real quick. If an employer right now is actually working themselves to the bone, being the executive and HR and payroll, whatever, you're going to sink. Eventually, you're going to sink. You need to reach out to our local chapter or another type of recruiter that stuff off your plate. Get some help, even if it's temporary until it becomes more manageable. You know, people that, you're really busy, you got a lot on your plate, everything feels like a storm, and I'm like, giggle, that's job security. But the other thing, when things are going smooth, that's actually when you're like, it's not very good. There's something about to happen. But if it's running smooth and you can take a vacation as a manager in your department, then the policy's working, the cross training's working. That's what HR does. Don't see HR as always the one just fixing the problem. It's also, not everything. Landman seems like whoever is HR for them. Good luck, but
it's true.
But I used to always fear that because I didn't have so much on my plate that day and it's quiet that wasn't good. You need to have a problem. No, they're leading by example. Life's good. They're following the policy. They're doing everything correct. Not everything should be so dramatic and off with their head. That has to shift. Stigma of HR. We're also not the culture police. Imagine that. They think HR is all responsible for creating the culture in a company. We are not. We are the advisors. We are the ones that can keep it going. But if you have a really bad boss, and HR is working on that boss to improve, this boss is affecting everyone below. And so we've got to work on the source of the problem first, besides all the grievances coming after that. Because if we can change that manager to be teachable, coachable, and vulnerable, then we can salvage all of that. Cannot get this guy on board. This person has to go.
Yeah.
Because he's like match all of the stick. And that's critical. And if you can't figure who is the one making it rough, send in someone consultant to review and assess. And that's
objective view.
Get an objective view. Figure out, is it your CEO? Is it your ops manager? Or is it, just the frontline employee?
Or is it self-inflicted? I mean, there's a lot of people that
do just that. Not having always got to find something to complain about. Truth always comes out, right? An investigation. But I've witnessed a lot, done a lot in my career. I'm honored to be doing HR. HR, I didn't go looking for. I didn't get up one morning, get out of school, and go, it's an HR manager. But HR found me. And so I think that's what sets me apart, is I never take it for granted. I mean, my employer could look at the numbers and realize someone's going to go, and it could be me. I'm now in a position in my life that it's not going to, okay, I'm been laid off. I must have done something wrong. No, it's like, it happened. Dust off that resume, get back at it. Or the alignment with your employer and HR. It's okay to leave. I think the most difficult task that I have is HRing the CEO. Always. It's the top management. Making sure, hey, you need to smile up. People think you're unapproachable. Maybe crack a dad joke every now and then. If the CEO says, I don't see value in what you're doing, because nothing's really going bad. I'm like, okay, I'll take a week vacation and you'll see everything I don't do.
Yeah.
Or that I do. Yeah. I used to be so scared to take vacation because I had to be present. We went wrong. Now I don't take a vacation. Even if there's issues or whatever that I need to handle on email or whatever, I'm like, hey, it's done. Now you see what I can do. Let's go. Versus right there in the office. But it's been a ride. I think the permanent basis is going to succeed even more in 2025.
Right.
I think employers need to look at their strategic planning and make sure HR is a part of it.
Yeah. I think I agree with you. I concur. I think new leadership coming in politically. We've got new values that are, some are going out the door and some are coming in the door, but it's going to be a challenging change, regardless if it's good or bad. But the bottom line is it's working together and knowing and relying on human resources is key.
You're going to come up a lot in this 2025 election. In politics. I mean, there's even a class that Sherm can do on how to talk about politics in the workforce.
Yeah, I just never did.
It's shame to blast sometimes to do so, but it's going to come out in the break room or whatever. And it is what it is at that point, but the employer's stuck in that. I can't get these people to work with each other like a team. I cannot. It's because there's no trust.
Yeah.
And there's a fear of like we can no longer disagree fully. Like it's just not happening. My way or the highway does. You don't think like me, I'm done with you. And that was not what I was used to growing up. You know, there's friends of ours that were right or left or whatever, and we could sit there going, no, that problem, that's Harry Bob. You do you, boo. I'm gonna do me. Now it's like I want everyone to be like me, vote like me, and hang out like me. It doesn't work that way. I think there was some meme going on social media saying, can we just all get along? No. Healthy conflict is good. You know, it rises us to move to the next level. It's a challenge accepted. But if you sit there and say, okay, because we disagree on this, that, you'll get a raise.
Yeah.
Because you disagree with me on this, that, I dock you here or I write you up for there because now you know what they stand for. That is a violation right there. So, should people talk about it at work? Yeah. Sure. As long as it stays civil.
Yeah.
You know, if it gets too much to where you got to walk away, well, walk away. They have a right to their opinion. You have a right to communicate both. And same thing, your leadership can all want it this way. And this is great. But if you're not getting feedback from your front line or your lower managers, and they come see this new plan and like, hey, did you think about it this way? You didn't include this. Is that not a priority? Because it's a priority to me. I'm concerned. But if the leadership is my way or the highway, you're going to lose all of that below. And then you're going to wonder why your managers are ill-performing at every task on their role description. So you set them up for failure.
No buy-in.
No buy-in. You need to get a collective sources of data and watch the thriving begin. And I think in 2025, we need to get back to where we can have a room discussion or a debate and still walk out shaking hands and going, nice to you, Dusty. It's a good conversation. There's some things I need to think. Does it mean I'm going to go and vote for the other side of things? No. But I'm now thinking differently. We're also think we're not always right either. We're not always right. I know. Can you believe that? You know, and we're not perfect. That's a good marriage tool right there. But it's just crazy to think that if you expect HR to know all the answers immediately, that's not good. So I had to learn that hard in my beginning of the career. I would be like, hey, I don't know that exact answer you're looking for right now. We're researching it. Instead of just spewing something out of my mouth and looking like a fool. Pause and reflect. And I love research and I go back and say, okay, I was pretty much on the ball there, but it's changed since then. So here's the final verdict on this law or whatever. Because you can go to bed one day and the next day the law's completely changed.
Yes, that's true. They more in the past, I think.
That's true. And all the cheese that they let out are getting a Bass Pro Shop, we're getting a Costco, we're getting Bros developed. employers are Diamondback bought out Endeavor. There's so much going on behind the scenes that is not well-known knowledge, but once we find out, it's because of change, y'all. This is not how we always done it. That's one of my biggest used to say that. Because even if it is we've always done it, the results are not great. So something in this is the way we've always done it has to shift, change. Change is fear of the unknown. That's why people are resistant to it. But once you're in it, and if your team is communicating to you the changes that are happening, peace, anxiety will ease. And, okay, I see where they're going. I see this is going to help the bottleneck in our organization. We're going to be much more effective, or streamlined, or efficient. Management needs to communicate that all the way down to all of their employees. I think one of the companies I work for, everything was done from this level up. And they wondered why all these people never felt like me to the parties or whatever. It's because first of all, the manager was never invited again. Second of all, they don't have a buy-in or feel like they have a voice. Why are they going to participate in a pizza party or whatever, whatever you're offering? They don't feel they belong anyways. They don't feel like they can have an honest and open conversation with their manager or above with things that are bothering them on what they're doing on paper or with the other people, their coworkers. So I truly love the vast differences in HR. Like, you can't go in every day at work and expect this to be this way.
This is going to happen today. I can count on it. 7 o'clock today. That's just not going to happen.
No, not in safety oriented. It's a phone call that will rock your world that day. And I don't take the ones that are calm for granted at all.
Oh, either.
But in the podcasting world, in the oil and gas industry, and HR and safety, that's my life in a nutshell, plus add being a mom, finishing up being a college student. So all these different roles have just made me much stronger in an HR position. And I'm thankful for it. I'm glad it found me. I'm glad that I didn't have to go looking for it. Do not regret waiting so long to go back to school because I'm not wasting any of my money on a degree that I'm not using.
Right.
I'm going strictly to improve what I need to with the current career that I have. And I think that's what sets me apart. And I'm looking forward to what I continue to do for my employer and for PB Sherm.
Well, that's outstanding. Well, I thank you so much for joining us and having this conversation. I've learned a lot of things, and I'm certain it will benefit others, the recipients, when they see the ins and outs of what HR goes with. And we might have to get a link or something. We can make it where they'll be able to contact PB Sherm.
We have an email and a website. The thing is, lean into us, ask questions. Even if we don't know the resource at the time, we will get back with you with the resource that will benefit the employer or current employee. You're going through something that you feel like is a violation against policy and procedure, you can totally reach out to us and say, that's legal. That's illegal. That's legal. What they're doing is right. Maybe not nice, but it's legal. But lean into us, lean into the people. We have a great set of mentors, and we have a bunch of new faces that are going to bring us to the next level. It works. I'm pumped. I am so pumped. I can talk about PB Sherm all the time.
Yeah, it's going to be a large bank of knowledge.
It is. We have such diversity in our board members, but also in our chapter members. They're all in HR and CECA. So if an employer has other 20 employees that can't afford a full-time HR person, these are the people that we're saying, PB Sherm, we're in your backyard. Come, you learn. Come visit. It's not all HR related. It's just PB Sherm is the name of it. But we're having a legislation learned in July. We're recruiting in January. We have benefits and well-being. There's so many different topics that even if you're not an HR role, if you're an entrepreneur, you're what, it's going to be fantastic. I think we also got one. He's a very good speaker. It's January 2026. Let's talk more on program organizing. That he's going to come and talk about how to de-escalate your staff. There's too much animosity, too much micromanaging, too much dysfunction, and how do you get that better? I love that I can say this. I know that in my career, I'm lacking knowledge of some sort. PB Sherm will find a speaker or find whatever it needs to give us that solution, to fix we're going through. Recently, I've had a member in the back room of the lunch bar that used to come in always, like, smiling, happy, all this other stuff. Just noticed they're kind of slumped in their seat, not really engaging. And they were going through something in their career that was, they needed to spew it out, to think about what they wanted to do in the next step. And I say, what I always say is, HR, you need to advocate for your staff, but you have to advocate for yourself. And if you don't feel seen, heard, respected, or valued, and they did that. They advocated for themselves and went on for greener pastures. And seeing them the following month, standing tall and smiling again, that's why I joined as a volunteer. And just paying attention to your staff that way. Another thing is in HR is if you don't value your HR as employer, and you listen to this episode or whatever, and you don't know how to change your viewpoint in HR, come talk to us, because maybe you don't have the right HR person for that role. Maybe you're just old school and you never really saw what they do. So we'll teach you how to shadow and learn everything that they do. And you realize, I did not see your value, but I wouldn't want to take this on. I wouldn't even know where to start. And especially with the mom and pop entrepreneurs when they do have to do all the roles. And if they can't make a lunch and learn that's every Tuesday or so of the month, then we have a big conference in September at Bush Convention Center. Or we can do a private one if you're full employee department. All you need is sexual harassment training or EEO training or whatever. Let us know. Let us know, and we'll come out. We're excited to partner with companies out here, and we're going to get our name out more too. Right. That's our goal for 2025 is letting people know, hey, we're here, and we're loud, and we're HR.
I like it. Thank you so much. I appreciate it so much, and I hope that continued success, and we'll do everything we can to, if I run into anyone that has HR issue or like that, even if they don't watch podcasts, I'll be following that.
Yeah, we post jobs for employers. We can help interview. We are all in one service, so if they're looking and they're having difficulty to fill their job, that specific job, let us know, and we can help revamp the job description. We can make something happen better for the employer out there, because there's someone out there that's fit just right for them.
I guarantee it. Well, that's it for everybody, and thank you so much for tuning in, and we'll see you the next time on the West Texas Slant, and this is our slant.